found out about his death that on June the 18th, around about 9 o'clock p.m. at night, my sister called me and told me that my son was dead. And I didn't believe her, but of course she told me. But that's how I found out, through my sister. And finally, the detective got on the phone, and they were telling me, that they found my son in a cell, unresponsive. So I was asking them, how did it happen? And they stated that they don't know. They didn't know what happened to him. They just found him non-responsive.
Eventually, we did get a call from the sheriff. Once another news outlet locally, I think, had ran a piece, and the family's frustration about the death, and then that prompted the sheriff, I believe, to call, and he started giving us some information that we have since found out wasn't true, though. To some extent, he was just saying that there was an altercation with Ricardo in the jail, basically with one other inmate, is how he said that, and that the officers responded to it, and Ricardo seemed to be fine and didn't need medical attention, and the case, that was it. And he went back in the cell, and then they came back and they found him, dead. But since we have gotten other information, we found out that that timeline isn't true, and that it was multiple inmates involved. At 1:15, they speak to Ricardo, and Ricardo is telling them that he needs, that he's okay. He just took a shower, and that he just, he's fine. But the autopsy says that, he was, hit with blunt force trauma to the head with some type of maybe object or something that could cause severe brain damage, possibly, where he wouldn't be able to even have that conversation with anyone, let alone the officer. If you want to do something in a jail or anywhere, if you know that you don't got any supervision and no one is watching, then you're going to do it, So it's not just for Ricardo, but for anybody that's being housed in that jail, whether it's not just even an altercation between inmate and inmate, someone that's having a heart condition or anything. Our concern is that if you ain't getting the rounds like you should, then you could possibly lose your life too.
Still to this day, neither one of those, the SBI nor the sheriff department, the police, none of them, they've never, still to this day, which is 9 months later after my son's murder, have they ever once gave me a police report? They haven't gave me any type of information from anywhere. Never, not once. It's just like a cold case.
So we hope that they use the video evidence that they have, use the interviews that they have, and not just to go after the inmates who was involved in this, apparently gang style, jumping of another individual, but for the officers who responded or didn't respond. And I mean, some of them we've been told by other witnesses to this that was in the jail at that time that Ricardo wasn't able to speak for himself.
It's very disturbing to me. It's very painful to me. And I just pray to God that my son gets justice, and mainly so that nobody else's son has to go through this.